Las Vegas stands today as a glittering monument to human ambition, a city that seems to defy every natural law of desert survival. But strip away the neon lights and the towering casino resorts, and you'll discover a story far more extraordinary than any gambler's wildest dream. Tonight we'll uncover how a barren patch of Nevada desert transformed into the entertainment capital of the world. We'll explore the unlikely cast of characters who built this empire from nothing, the fortunes won and lost, and the relentless march of progress that turned a dusty railroad stop into a metropolis of nearly 700,000 people. We'll start with a surprising discovery beneath the modern strip, and from there we'll follow the desert's transformation through boom and bust cycles that would have destroyed any ordinary city. So just relax and let your mind wander as we explore the remarkable history of Las Vegas. When you think of Las Vegas today, perhaps you picture the Bellagio fountains dancing to music, the towering pyramid of the Luxor, or the replica Eiffel Tower glowing against the desert sky. The Strip feels like the very heart of American entertainment, a place where reality bends to accommodate every fantasy. And indeed, this stretch of desert has become the measuring stick for spectacle worldwide. But the land now known as Las Vegas has been witness to far more than just the recent carnival of lights and fortune. Relatively speaking, most of the iconic architecture on the Strip isn't that old. The Bellagio opened in 1998, the Luxor in 1993, and even the oldest major casino still operating, the Flamingo, dates back only to 1946. However, the area we now call Las Vegas has been significant for thousands of years, and it's also the site of another hidden history. During construction projects throughout the valley, ancient artifacts have been unearthed regularly: stone tools, pottery fragments, and evidence of sophisticated irrigation systems. These remnants belong to people who understood something that modern visitors often forget. This desert, harsh as it appears, has always been a place of survival and adaptation. It's surreal to imagine that here, where tourists snap selfies in front of dancing fountains, ancient peoples once gathered around natural springs, creating the first communities in what would become one of America's most unlikely cities. However, the true story of modern Las Vegas has to begin with those natural springs that gave the valley its name. Long before European explorers set foot in North America, indigenous peoples had discovered the secret of this desert valley. The area that would become Las Vegas was never empty wilderness. Instead, it served as a crucial stopping point along ancient trade routes. The southern Paiute people had established seasonal camps here, drawn by the same resource that would later attract Spanish explorers, Mormon settlers, and eventually railroad barons: water. The name Las Vegas itself comes from Spanish explorers who passed through in the 1820s. They called it the Meadows because the natural springs created patches of green grass in an otherwise hostile landscape. These artesian springs bubbled up from deep underground aquifers, creating an oasis that could sustain both human life and the wildlife that travelers depended upon for survival. For the southern Paiute, this wasn't just a convenient rest stop. The valley represented something far more valuable, a reliable source of life in one of North America's most unforgiving environments. They developed sophisticated knowledge of the seasonal patterns, understanding exactly when and where water would be most abundant. Their camps were strategically positioned to take advantage of not just the springs, but also the plants and animals that thrived in this unique ecosystem. The springs supported cottonwood trees, willows, and extensive grasslands. Wild grapes grew along the creek beds, and the area teemed with rabbits, deer, and bighorn sheep. For people traveling between California and the pueblos of New Mexico, Las Vegas represented the difference between life and death. During the 1820s and 1830s, Spanish and Mexican traders began using what became known as the Old Spanish Trail. This grueling 1,200-mile route connected Santa Fe with Los Angeles, and Las Vegas served as one of the few reliable water sources along the way. The journey between water sources could take days, making places like Las Vegas absolutely essential for survival. The traders who stopped here weren't just passing through with empty packs. They were part of a complex economic network that stretched across the American Southwest. Horses and mules traveled eastward to New Mexico, while woolen goods, silver, and other manufactured items moved west toward California. Las Vegas became a crucial link in this chain of commerce, though it remained little more than a collection of springs and temporary camps. Everything changed in 1844 when John C. Fremont arrived with a military expedition. Fremont was leading what would become known as his third expedition, mapping and surveying the American West for the US government. His party had been traveling for months through some of the most challenging terrain on the continent, and when they reached Las Vegas, Fremont recognized immediately why this location had been so important to previous travelers. Fremont's detailed journals provide our first written description of Las Vegas from an American perspective. He noted the abundance of grass and the reliability of the springs, but he also recognized something that previous visitors had perhaps taken for granted: the strategic importance of controlling this location. Anyone who held Las Vegas could effectively control movement between California and the rest of the American territories. The timing of Fremont's visit wasn't coincidental. The United States was in the middle of its Great Western expansion, and tensions with Mexico were escalating toward what would become the Mexican-American War. Within just a few years, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo would transfer vast territories, including Nevada, from Mexico to the United States. Las Vegas was about to become American territory. But before that transition could take place, the Springs witnessed one of the most remarkable migration stories in American history. Starting in 1847, Mormon pioneers began using Las Vegas as a rest stop on their journey to establish settlements throughout the American West. Unlike previous travelers who simply passed through, the Mormons saw potential in the desert valley itself. Brigham Young, the Mormon leader, had dispatched scouting parties throughout the region to identify locations suitable for permanent settlement. The scouts who reached Las Vegas sent back reports that intrigued Young enormously. Here was a place with reliable water, defensible terrain, and a location that could serve as a way station for Mormon travelers moving between Salt Lake City and Southern California. The Mormons understood something about desert survival that would prove crucial to Las Vegas's future development. Success in the desert required not just finding water, but learning to use it efficiently. They had already demonstrated this principle in transforming the Salt Lake Valley, and they believed the same techniques could work in Nevada. In 1855, Brigham Young made the decision that would establish the first permanent American settlement in Las Vegas. He called William Bringhurst to lead a mission to the valley with instructions to build a fort, establish farms, and create a base for further expansion into southern Nevada. The group that set out from Salt Lake City included 30 men with diverse skills: farmers, carpenters, blacksmiths, and others necessary for establishing a self-sufficient community. When Bringhurst's party arrived in Las Vegas in June 1855, they faced challenges that would have discouraged less determined settlers. The summer heat was brutal, reaching temperatures that made outdoor work nearly impossible during midday hours. The soil, while fertile near the springs, required extensive irrigation to support crops, and they were hundreds of miles from the nearest substantial settlement, making them entirely dependent on their own resources. Despite these challenges, the Mormon settlers began construction of what they called the Las Vegas Fort. The structure was built using adobe bricks made from local clay and served as both a protective stronghold and a community center. The fort's walls enclosed about 150 square feet, providing space for living quarters, workshops, and storage facilities. More importantly, the Mormons began the first systematic agriculture in Las Vegas history. They dug irrigation channels to direct spring water toward carefully planned fields. They planted wheat, corn, squash, and other crops that could survive in the desert climate with adequate water management. For the first time, Las Vegas was supporting a permanent population through local food production. The Mormon settlement also served as a crucial way station for travelers on the California Trail. The fort provided fresh supplies, equipment repairs, and a safe place to rest before continuing the dangerous journey across the Mojave Desert. This combination of agriculture and services created Las Vegas's first real economy, though it remained small and precarious. However, the Mormon experiment in Las Vegas faced problems that would foreshadow many future challenges in the valley. The harsh climate made farming extremely difficult, with crop failures common during particularly hot summers or unusually cold winters. Supply lines from Salt Lake City were long and unreliable, making it difficult to obtain tools, seeds, and other necessities. Perhaps most significantly, tensions with local Native American groups created ongoing security concerns. The southern Paiute had not simply vanished when American settlers arrived. They continued to use the valley seasonally and viewed the Mormon presence as an intrusion on their traditional territory. While initial relationships were relatively peaceful, conflicts arose over access to water and grazing areas. Several violent incidents occurred, making life in the fort increasingly stressful for the Mormon families. By 1857, these accumulated pressures had made the Las Vegas mission financially unsustainable. Brigham Young recalled most of the settlers to Salt Lake City, effectively ending the first attempt at permanent American settlement in Las Vegas. The fort was abandoned, though it would continue to serve as a landmark for travelers crossing the desert. The failure of the Mormon mission might have ended Las Vegas's story before it truly began. For several years after 1857, the valley returned to its previous role as simply a rest stop along the California Trail. The abandoned fort slowly crumbled in the desert heat, and it seemed as though Las Vegas would remain forever on the margins of American development. But the seeds of future transformation had already been planted. The Mormon settlers had proved that permanent agriculture was possible in the valley with proper water management. They had demonstrated that Las Vegas could serve as a viable supply point for cross-desert travel. Most importantly, they had created the first detailed maps and descriptions of the area's resources, information that would prove invaluable to future developers. The next chapter in Las Vegas's story would require a different kind of vision and vastly more capital than the Mormon settlers had possessed. It would take the arrival of the railroad to unlock the valley's true potential and set in motion the chain of events that would eventually create the neon empire we know today. The transformation of Las Vegas from abandoned Mormon outpost to railroad boomtown began with a stroke of geological luck and entrepreneurial ambition. In the 1890s, as America's railroad network expanded relentlessly westward, surveyors discovered that the Las Vegas Valley offered something invaluable: the shortest practical route between Salt Lake City and Southern California. The San Pedro, Los Angeles, and Salt Lake Railroad, later acquired by the Union Pacific, needed a way to cross the formidable desert barriers that separated Utah from the Pacific coast. Alternative routes required expensive mountain tunnels or lengthy detours through hostile terrain. Las Vegas, with its reliable water supply and relatively flat approaches, emerged as the obvious choice for a major depot and maintenance facility. Railroad construction in the desert presented challenges that pushed 19th century engineering to its limits. Work crews had to transport massive quantities of steel, lumber, and equipment across hundreds of miles of wilderness. Water for both workers and steam locomotives had to be carefully rationed and strategically positioned. During summer months, construction often stopped entirely as temperatures soared above 115 degrees Fahrenheit. The railroad's arrival in Las Vegas in 1905 marks the beginning of the modern city's history. Unlike the Mormon settlers who had struggled to create a self-sufficient agricultural community, the railroad brought Las Vegas into direct contact with national markets and transportation networks. Suddenly, the isolated desert outpost was connected to Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles by ribbons of steel that carried both goods and people at unprecedented speed. The railroad company faced an immediate challenge: how to create a permanent workforce in one of America's most inhospitable environments. Their solution would establish patterns that continue to define Las Vegas today. Rather than simply building a utilitarian company town, railroad executives decided to create a real city that could attract families and businesses beyond those directly connected to transportation. On May 15, 1905, the San Pedro, Los Angeles, and Salt Lake Railroad held what became known as the Las Vegas Land Auction. Company officials had surveyed and platted 1,200 lots in a grid pattern around the railroad depot, creating the foundation of what would become downtown Las Vegas. The auction was heavily promoted throughout California and Utah, with advertisements promising investors the chance to get in on the ground floor of a major new railroad town. The auction exceeded all expectations. Despite the remote location and harsh climate, buyers snapped up lots for prices that seemed impossibly high for desert real estate. Corner lots sold for more than $750, while interior parcels went for $200 or more. In a single day, the railroad company collected over $265,000, providing the capital needed to begin serious development. But the buyers weren't just speculators hoping to flip land for quick profits. Many were experienced businessmen who recognized that every major railroad junction inevitably became a commercial hub. They understood that Las Vegas would serve not just trains, but also the growing network of automobile traffic that was beginning to cross the American West within months of the land auction. Las Vegas began to resemble a real town rather than a temporary camp. The first permanent buildings included a hotel, several saloons, a general store, and a newspaper office. The Las Vegas Age began publication in 1905, providing both local news and enthusiastic promotion of the new community's prospects. The railroad's impact extended far beyond simply providing transportation. The company needed substantial facilities to maintain locomotives and rolling stock in the desert environment. This meant machine shops, roundhouses, and repair facilities that employed skilled workers year-round. These jobs provided the economic foundation that allowed Las Vegas to grow beyond a mere depot into a genuine community. Water remained the crucial limiting factor for growth. The natural springs that had attracted previous settlers were adequate for a small population, but supporting a railroad town required much more substantial supplies. The railroad company invested heavily in drilling deeper wells and constructing distribution systems that could serve both their own operations and the growing civilian population. By 1910, Las Vegas had grown to nearly 1,000 residents, making it one of Nevada's larger communities despite its recent founding. The population was remarkably diverse for such a remote location. Railroad workers came from across the United States and included substantial numbers of immigrants from Mexico and Europe. African American porters and maintenance workers formed one of Nevada's largest black communities, Chinese immigrants, many of whom had originally come to work on railroad construction, established businesses, and restaurants. This diversity created a social complexity that distinguished Las Vegas from many other Western towns. Unlike agricultural communities that developed gradually over generations, Las Vegas was essentially created overnight by bringing together people from vastly different backgrounds. This mixing of cultures, ethnicities, and regional traditions would become a defining characteristic of Las Vegas throughout its history. The early railroad town also established Las Vegas's relationship with entertainment and vice that would prove so important to its future development. Nevada's relatively permissive laws regarding gambling and alcohol made the town an attractive destination for railroad workers and travelers seeking recreation unavailable in more restrictive states. Saloons and gambling halls clustered around the depot, creating the first version of what would eventually become the Strip. However, life in early Las Vegas was far from the glamorous image that would later define the city. Summer temperatures regularly exceeded 110 degrees, and the desert environment was harsh and unforgiving. Dust storms could last for days, covering everything with fine grit that infiltrated buildings and machinery. Flash floods periodically swept through the valley, destroying roads and threatening buildings constructed too close to normally dry creek beds. The town's economy remained entirely dependent on railroad operations, making it vulnerable to changes in transportation patterns and corporate decisions made hundreds of miles away. When the railroad reduced operations or shifted maintenance facilities to other locations, Las Vegas felt the impact immediately. This boom and bust cycle would become a recurring theme in the city's development. Despite these challenges, Las Vegas continued to grow throughout the 1910s. The completion of the Panama Canal in 1914 increased traffic along the railroad route, as goods flowed between the expanded port facilities of Southern California and markets throughout the American interior. Las Vegas benefited from this increased activity, though it remained a relatively small player in the regional economy. The discovery of significant mineral deposits in southern Nevada provided another economic boost for Las Vegas during this period. Gold, silver, and copper mines throughout the region required supplies and transportation that the railroad could provide. Efficiently, Las Vegas became a supply center and transportation hub for mining operations scattered across hundreds of square miles of desert territory. World War I brought unexpected prosperity to Las Vegas as military preparations increased demand for Nevada's mineral resources. Copper production, in particular, expanded dramatically as the military required vast quantities of metal for ammunition and equipment. Las Vegas served as a crucial link in the supply chain that moved raw materials from remote mines to processing facilities and eventually to military contractors. The war also brought Las Vegas its first taste of federal government investment on a large scale. Military officials recognized the strategic importance of maintaining reliable transportation links across the desert southwest, and they invested in upgrading railroad facilities and expanding depot capacity. These improvements would prove crucial to the city's ability to handle the much larger population influxes that lay ahead. By 1920, Las Vegas had evolved from a railroad construction camp into a legitimate small city with nearly 2,300 residents. The downtown area featured substantial brick and stone buildings, electric lighting, and telephone service. The Las Vegas Grammar School educated children from kindergarten through high school, while several churches served the spiritual needs of different denominational communities. Yet for all this progress, Las Vegas remained fundamentally a railroad town whose fortunes rose and fell with decisions made in distant corporate boardrooms. The city needed something more than transportation to achieve real independence and sustained growth. That something would come from an unexpected source: the federal government's decision to harness the power of the Colorado River through what would become one of the largest construction projects in American history. The transformation of Las Vegas from a modest railroad town into something approaching a major city began with an announcement that seemed almost too ambitious to believe. In 1928, Congress authorized the construction of what would initially be called Boulder Dam, a massive concrete barrier designed to tame the Colorado River and provide electricity, flood control, and water storage for the entire Southwest. The dam project represented the largest federal construction effort undertaken to that point in American history. The scale was staggering. Over 3 million cubic yards of concrete would be poured into a canyon wall, creating a structure 726 feet high and 1,244 feet long. The project would require a workforce of thousands, specialized equipment that didn't yet exist, and engineering solutions to problems that had never been attempted. For Las Vegas, located just 30 miles from the construction site, the dam announcement meant something extraordinary: the arrival of the largest concentrated workforce in Nevada's history. Federal officials estimated that the project would require between 3,000 and 5,000 workers over a construction period of several years. These weren't temporary railroad crews who would move on to the next section of track. These were skilled craftsmen, engineers, and labourers who would need housing, food, entertainment, and services for years at a time. The federal government faced an immediate challenge in housing this massive workforce. The construction site itself, located in one of the most desolate and hostile environments in North America, offered no existing infrastructure. Summer temperatures in Black Canyon regularly exceeded 120 degrees Fahrenheit, making outdoor work potentially fatal during the hottest months. The nearest substantial town was Las Vegas, but even that community lacked the capacity to house thousands of additional residents. Government planners initially considered building a completely new town at the dam site, but the extreme conditions made that option prohibitively expensive. Instead, they decided to construct a model company town called Boulder City, while encouraging workers to seek housing in Las Vegas and commute to the construction site. This decision would prove transformational for the desert railroad town. The announcement of the dam project triggered the first major population boom in Las Vegas history. Within months of the congressional authorization, real estate prices soared as speculators anticipated the arrival of thousands of federal workers and their families. Hotels that had struggled to fill rooms during the quiet desert summers suddenly found themselves booked solid. Restaurants, stores, and service businesses expanded rapidly to meet the anticipated demand. But the reality of the dam construction proved even more dramatic than anyone had predicted. Work began in 1931, and almost immediately, Las Vegas was overwhelmed by an influx of job seekers, their families, and entrepreneurs hoping to profit from the federal spending. The town's population doubled, then tripled as workers arrived from across the United States. The demographic transformation was remarkable. Las Vegas had been a small railroad town where most residents knew each other personally. Suddenly, it was hosting thousands of strangers from vastly different backgrounds. Construction workers from urban industrial centres mixed with farmers fleeing the Dust Bowl, while engineers and supervisors brought their families from major cities across the country. This population explosion created both opportunities and serious problems. Local businesses prospered as never before, but the town's infrastructure was completely inadequate for the sudden growth. Housing shortages forced many families to live in tents, trailers, or hastily constructed shacks that offered little protection from the desert climate. The water system, already strained by normal railroad operations, struggled to serve the expanded population. The construction of Boulder Dam also coincided with another development that would prove equally important to Las Vegas's future: the legalization of casino gambling throughout Nevada in 1931. State legislators, desperate for tax revenue during the Great Depression, decided to embrace activities that were illegal in most other states. The timing couldn't have been better for Las Vegas entrepreneurs. Thousands of dam workers, earning steady federal wages while living in a harsh and isolated environment, represented an ideal customer base for gambling establishments. After grueling shifts in temperatures that could kill, workers sought entertainment and excitement that would help them forget the brutal conditions they faced daily. Las Vegas saloons and gambling halls provided exactly what these men needed. The combination of federal construction wages and legalized gambling created Las Vegas's first taste of the economic formula that would eventually make it famous worldwide. Unlike farming or manufacturing, gambling generated revenue that was essentially created from nothing. A successful casino could turn modest investments into substantial profits without depending on natural resources, transportation costs, or complex supply chains. Entrepreneurs quickly recognized the potential. New casinos opened throughout downtown Las Vegas, each trying to attract dam workers with better odds, more exciting games, or superior entertainment. The Northern Club, the Las Vegas Club, and the Boulder Club competed fiercely for customers who had money to spend and few other entertainment options in the desert. The dam workers represented something new in Las Vegas's experience, tourists who came specifically for entertainment rather than simply passing through on their way to somewhere else. These men weren't railroad passengers making a brief stop for supplies. They were temporary residents who would spend their earnings locally over a period of years. This created the foundation for Las Vegas's eventual evolution into a destination rather than just a way station. The federal government's presence also brought a level of economic stability that Las Vegas had never experienced. Unlike mining booms that could end when ore deposits were exhausted, or railroad construction that moved on to new territories, dam construction provided guaranteed employment for a specific period. Workers and businesses could plan for the future with confidence that the customer base would remain stable through the project's completion. Construction of the dam proceeded with a remarkable efficiency despite the challenging conditions. Workers developed innovative techniques for pouring concrete in extreme heat, including the use of refrigerated water and embedded cooling pipes to prevent cracking. The project became a showcase for American engineering capability and attracted visitors from around the world who wanted to witness this triumph over natural forces. These visitors represented another new source of revenue for Las Vegas. Sightseers traveling to view the dam construction needed places to stay, eat, and be entertained during their visits. The town began developing its first tourist infrastructure, specifically designed to serve visitors rather than just railroad passengers or construction workers. The Apache Hotel, built in 1932, was Las Vegas's first establishment, designed primarily for tourists. Unlike previous hotels that focused on serving railroad travelers, the Apache featured amenities specifically intended to attract visitors who came to see the dam and experience the excitement of Nevada's legal gambling. The hotel's success demonstrated that Las Vegas could attract customers who had no connection to either railroads or construction work. As dam construction progressed, Las Vegas began to develop the entertainment culture that would eventually define its identity. Casinos started featuring live music, dancing, and stage shows designed to compete for workers' attention and money. The town's isolation, which had previously been a disadvantage, now became an asset because it meant customers had few alternatives for entertainment. The completion of Boulder Dam in 1935 marked a crucial turning point in Las Vegas's development. The massive concrete structure, later renamed Hoover Dam in honor of the former president, stood as a monument to American engineering achievement and continued to attract tourists long after construction ended. More importantly, for Las Vegas, the dam's completion didn't mean the end of federal involvement in the region. The dam created Lake Mead, the largest artificial reservoir in the United States, which required ongoing federal management and maintenance. The Bureau of Reclamation established permanent offices in the region, providing a stable base of government employment that helped sustain Las Vegas's economy after the construction boom ended. The cheap electricity generated by the dam would later prove crucial for powering the air conditioning systems that made year-round tourism feasible in the desert. But perhaps most importantly, the dam years had demonstrated that Las Vegas could successfully serve a large population of temporary residents who came specifically for work or entertainment. The town had learned to provide services, housing, and recreation for people who had no permanent ties to the community. This experience would prove invaluable as Las Vegas evolved toward its destiny as America's playground. The end of dam construction in 1935 might have meant economic collapse for Las Vegas if the town had remained dependent solely on federal projects. But by then, local entrepreneurs had discovered something remarkable. Properly managed gambling and entertainment could generate sustainable revenue streams that didn't depend on government contracts or natural resource extraction. The seeds of the modern casino industry had been planted in the desert, and they were beginning to sprout out. As the 1930s progressed, Las Vegas found itself in a unique position among American cities. While much of the nation struggled through the Great Depression, the desert town had discovered an economic model that seemed almost immune to the broader financial collapse. The combination of legalized gambling, liberal divorce laws, and a growing reputation for entertainment had created something entirely new in the American landscape. The town's transformation accelerated when entrepreneurs began to understand that Las Vegas offered something no other place in America could provide: complete freedom from the social restrictions that governed life elsewhere. Nevada's laws were remarkably permissive compared to other states, and Las Vegas embraced this advantage with enthusiasm that bordered on recklessness. Gambling had been legal in Nevada since 1931, but it took several years for the industry to develop the sophistication that would eventually make it famous worldwide. Early casinos were relatively modest affairs, often little more than saloons, with a few card tables and slot machines. However, as operators gained experience and customers became more demanding, the establishments began to evolve into something more elaborate. The Northern Club, opened in 1931, was among the first to recognize that successful gambling required more than just games of chance. The club featured live entertainment, quality dining, and an atmosphere of excitement that made customers feel they were participating in something special rather than simply losing money. This approach proved enormously successful and established patterns that other operators quickly copied. By the mid-1930s, downtown Las Vegas had developed a distinct character that set it apart from other Western towns. Neon signs began appearing along Fremont Street, advertising casinos, hotels, and restaurants with a brightness and boldness that seemed to challenge the desert darkness itself. The signs weren't just advertisements, they were declarations that Las Vegas intended to be noticed. The entertainment industry that developed around gambling was surprisingly sophisticated for such a remote location. Casinos began importing performers from Los Angeles and San Francisco, offering wages that could compete with major urban markets. Jazz musicians, dancers, and singers found that Las Vegas provided opportunities for steady work in an environment that appreciated their talents. This influx of professional entertainers brought a cosmopolitan atmosphere to the desert town that surprised many visitors. Las Vegas was no longer just a rough frontier settlement where railroad workers and miners sought basic recreation. It was becoming a place where urbanites could find entertainment that matched what they expected in major cities, but with an excitement and freedom unavailable elsewhere. The town's growing reputation attracted attention from unexpected quarters. Hollywood celebrities began making trips to Las Vegas, drawn by the combination of legal gambling, liberal laws, and the guarantee of privacy that the remote location provided. These celebrity visits generated publicity that money couldn't buy, establishing Las Vegas as a destination for the wealthy and famous. Clark Gable, Carole Lombard, and other major stars discovered that Las Vegas offered them something increasingly rare: the ability to behave naturally without constant scrutiny from gossip columnists and photographers. The town's isolation and the entertainment industry's code of discretion meant that celebrities could gamble, drink, and socialize without fear that their activities would appear in tomorrow's newspapers. This celebrity patronage had a profound impact on Las Vegas's development. Casino operators realized that famous customers attracted ordinary visitors who hoped to glimpse or interact with stars. The presence of celebrities elevated the entire experience of visiting Las Vegas, making even modest gamblers feel they were participating in something glamorous and exclusive. The late 1930s also saw the arrival of entrepreneurs who would play crucial roles in Las Vegas's transformation from frontier town to entertainment capital. These weren't the railroad men or miners who had previously shaped the town's development. They were businessmen from major cities who recognized the enormous potential in Nevada's unique legal environment. One of the most significant arrivals was Thomas Hull, a California hotel operator who saw possibilities in Las Vegas that local entrepreneurs had missed. Hull understood that the town's growth had been limited by its focus on serving local customers and passing travelers. He believed Las Vegas could attract visitors from hundreds of miles away if it offered accommodations and entertainment that matched the quality available in major resort destinations. Hull's vision required a fundamental shift in how Las Vegas thought about its customers. Instead of focusing on railroad workers, dam construction crews, and local residents, casinos needed to appeal to middle-class tourists who would travel significant distances specifically to experience what Las Vegas offered. This meant higher quality accommodations, better food, more sophisticated entertainment, and an overall atmosphere of luxury rather than frontier roughness. The challenge was substantial. Las Vegas in the late 1930s was still essentially a small desert town with limited infrastructure. The hotels were adequate for railroad travelers making brief stops, but they couldn't compare to resort accommodations available in California or other established tourist destinations. The restaurants served basic fare suitable for construction workers, not the quality dining that sophisticated visitors expected. Hull and other visionary entrepreneurs recognized that transforming Las Vegas would require massive capital investments and a willingness to gamble on the town's future. They would need to build facilities that were dramatically superior to anything currently available, betting that customers would come if the experience was sufficiently compelling. The outbreak of World War II initially seemed to threaten Las Vegas's development, just as the town was beginning to realize its potential. Military mobilization drew away many of the young men who had formed the core customer base for casinos and entertainment venues. Rationing of gasoline and rubber made automobile travel difficult, reducing the number of tourists willing to make the long drive across the desert. However, the war ultimately accelerated Las Vegas's growth in ways that no one had anticipated. The federal government established several military training facilities in Nevada, bringing thousands of servicemen to the state Nellis Air Force Base, located just outside Las Vegas, became a major training center for pilots and air crews heading to combat in the Pacific Theater. These military personnel represented a new type of customer for Las Vegas's entertainment industry. Unlike the construction workers who had sustained the town during dam construction, servicemen were often young, single, and acutely aware that they might not survive the war. This created a psychology of living for the moment that made them ideal customers for gambling and entertainment establishments. The military presence also brought Las Vegas to the attention of defense contractors and suppliers who needed to visit the training facilities. These businessmen often had substantial expense accounts and represented exactly the type of upscale customers that casino operators hoped to attract. Many discovered that Las Vegas offered business entertainment possibilities unavailable in more restrictive locations. Wartime prosperity also increased the number of Americans who had discretionary income to spend on entertainment and travel. Defense workers in California, shipyard employees, and others benefiting from wartime employment began taking weekend trips to Las Vegas for recreation that was impossible to find in their home communities. The town was becoming a regional destination rather than just a local curiosity. The war years established patterns of customer behavior that would prove crucial to Las Vegas's future development. Visitors began coming not just for gambling, but for the overall experience of freedom and excitement that the town provided. They wanted to feel that they were escaping from the restrictions and responsibilities of their normal lives into a place where different rules applied. Casino operators learned to cater to this desire for escape by creating environments that were deliberately theatrical and fantastic. The goal wasn't just to provide gambling opportunities, but to create a sense of being transported into a different world where ordinary social conventions didn't apply. This approach would eventually evolve into the elaborate themed casinos that would define Las Vegas in later decades. The end of World War II in 1945 brought both challenges and opportunities for Las Vegas. The departure of military personnel eliminated a significant customer base, but returning veterans often had savings accumulated during their service and were eager to experience pleasures they had been denied during wartime. Many had heard about Las Vegas from fellow servicemen and were curious to see the desert entertainment capital for themselves. More importantly, the post-war economic boom created a large middle class with both the income and the mobility necessary to become regular tourists. Automobile ownership expanded dramatically, making it feasible for families from Los Angeles, San Francisco, and other Western cities to drive to Las Vegas for weekend entertainment. The town was positioned to benefit from the greatest expansion of leisure travel in American history. The stage was set for Las Vegas to evolve from a regional curiosity into a national phenomenon. The basic infrastructure was in place, the legal framework was favourable, and a generation of operators had learned how to create entertainment experiences that appealed to visitors from sophisticated urban markets. All that was needed was someone with the vision and resources to build something truly spectacular in the desert. That someone would arrive in 1946 with plans that seemed impossibly ambitious, even by Las Vegas standards. Benjamin "Bugsy" Siegel had a vision that would transform not just Las Vegas, but the entire concept of what a casino resort could become. His project would establish the template for modern Las Vegas and launch the city toward its destiny as the entertainment capital of the world. Benjamin Siegel arrived in Las Vegas with a reputation that preceded him and a vision that would revolutionize the desert town forever. Unlike the railroad men, miners, and local entrepreneurs who had previously shaped the city, Siegel brought connections to organized crime syndicates and access to capital that dwarfed anything Las Vegas had seen before. Siegel wasn't the first criminal figure to recognize Las Vegas's potential, but he was the first to understand that the town's future lay not in serving local customers or regional tourists, but in creating a destination so spectacular that people would travel across the continent to experience it. His plan was audacious. Build a casino resort that would rival the finest hotels in New York or Los Angeles, complete with luxury accommodations, world-class entertainment, and gambling facilities unlike anything previously attempted. The project that would become the Flamingo Hotel and Casino represented a fundamental shift in Las Vegas's development philosophy. Previous establishments had been built incrementally, expanding existing buildings or constructing modest facilities that served immediate needs. Siegel proposed something entirely different, a completely integrated resort designed from the ground up to provide every service a visitor might desire. The Flamingo's design incorporated lessons learned from years of casino operation in downtown Las Vegas, but on a scale that seemed almost impossibly ambitious. The main casino floor would be larger than anything previously built in Nevada, with space for hundreds of slot machines and dozens of gaming tables. The hotel would offer accommodations that matched luxury establishments in major cities, complete with air conditioning that would make desert summers bearable for tourists accustomed to more temperate climates. Perhaps most importantly, Siegel understood that successful casino operation required more than just gambling facilities. The Flamingo would feature multiple restaurants, elaborate stage shows, and entertainment that could compete with anything available in Los Angeles or New York. The goal was to create a complete entertainment experience that would encourage visitors to spend several days rather than just a few hours in Las Vegas. Construction of the Flamingo began in 1946, but the project quickly encountered problems that would have discouraged less determined entrepreneurs. Building materials were scarce and expensive in the post-war economy, requiring Siegel to pay premium prices for steel, lumber, and other essentials. The remote desert location made transportation costs enormous, as everything had to be trucked across hundreds of miles of hostile terrain. More significantly, Siegel's perfectionist approach to construction led to constant design changes and cost overruns that horrified his financial backers. What had begun as a moderately expensive project escalated into one of the most costly construction efforts in Nevada's history. Rumors circulated that the final cost would exceed $6 million, an astronomical sum for a casino in what was still essentially a small desert town. The delays and cost overruns created tensions between Siegel and his organized crime associates, who had provided much of the construction financing. These men had expected quick returns on their investments and were increasingly concerned about Siegel's ability to complete the project successfully. The pressure intensified as construction dragged on through 1946 and into early 1947. Despite these challenges, the Flamingo finally opened on December 26, 1946, in a blaze of publicity that attracted national attention to Las Vegas. For the first time, the opening celebration featured entertainment by major stars including Jimmy Durante and attracted celebrities and high rollers from across the country. For one night, the desert town hosted a party that rivaled anything staged in Hollywood or New York. However, the opening was also a disaster that nearly destroyed Siegel's vision before it could be fully realized. The hotel wasn't completely finished, with many rooms still under construction and key facilities not yet operational. Worse, the casino lost enormous sums of money, as high-rolling gamblers won far more than they lost, depleting the establishment's cash reserves and creating immediate financial crisis. The Flamingo's initial failure seemed to confirm the skeptics who had argued that Las Vegas could never support a truly luxury resort. The town's population was still relatively small, and the number of wealthy tourists willing to travel to the desert remained limited. Many observers concluded that Siegel had overestimated the market for high-end casino entertainment in such a remote location. But Siegel refused to accept defeat. He closed the Flamingo temporarily, completed the unfinished constructions, and refined the operation based on lessons learned during the disastrous opening. When the resort reopened in March 1947, it began to demonstrate the potential that Siegel had envisioned from the beginning. The key to the Flamingo's eventual success was its ability to attract customers who had never previously considered visiting Las Vegas. The resort's luxury accommodations and world-class entertainment appealed to wealthy tourists from California who were seeking sophisticated recreation unavailable in their home communities. These visitors had substantial gambling budgets and were willing to spend generously on dining, entertainment, and accommodations. More importantly, the Flamingo established Las Vegas as a destination that could compete with established resort areas like Miami Beach or the Catskills. The combination of legal gambling, liberal laws, and luxury facilities created a unique entertainment experience that couldn't be duplicated elsewhere in the United States. This competitive advantage would prove crucial as other entrepreneurs began planning their own Las Vegas developments. Siegel's murder in June 1947 shocked the entertainment world and created uncertainty about the Flamingo's future, but it didn't derail the revolution. he had begun. Other organized crime figures recognized the enormous potential that the resort had demonstrated and moved quickly to gain control of Las Vegas's developing casino industry. The money that had financed Siegel's vision continued to flow into new projects that would expand upon his innovations. The late 1940s and early 1950s saw an explosion of casino construction that transformed Las Vegas from a small desert town into something resembling a major entertainment destination. The Desert Inn, opened in 1950, featured even more elaborate facilities than the Flamingo, including a golf course that attracted wealthy visitors who might not otherwise have considered a Las Vegas vacation. The Sahara, which opened in 1952, introduced elaborate theming that would become a hallmark of Las Vegas design. Each new resort attempted to outdo its predecessors in luxury, entertainment, and sheer spectacle. Casino operators competed fiercely to attract the most famous performers, the wealthiest gamblers, and the most publicity. This competition drove continuous innovation in everything from architectural design to customer service, creating an environment where only the most creative and ambitious projects could succeed. The transformation wasn't limited to new construction. Existing downtown establishments expanded and upgraded their facilities to compete with the elaborate resorts being built on what was beginning to be called the Strip. The competition between downtown and the Strip created two distinct entertainment districts, each with its own character and customer base. Downtown Las Vegas retained much of the frontier atmosphere that had characterized the town since its railroad origins. The casinos were smaller and less formal, appealing to customers who wanted gambling and entertainment without the luxury prices charged by Strip resorts. Fremont Street developed into a concentrated entertainment zone where visitors could walk from casino to casino, sampling different atmospheres and gaming opportunities. The Strip, by contrast, became synonymous with luxury and spectacle. Each resort was designed as a self-contained destination where visitors could spend days without needing to leave the property. The resorts featured multiple restaurants, elaborate stage shows, swimming pools, and shopping facilities that catered to every conceivable need or desire. This dual development created a unique situation where Las Vegas could simultaneously appeal to budget-conscious tourists and wealthy high rollers. Visitors could choose between the informal atmosphere downtown or the luxury experience on the Strip, depending on their preferences and financial resources. This flexibility would prove crucial as the city continued to grow and attract increasingly diverse customer bases. The success of these early Strip resorts also demonstrated the importance of entertainment in Las Vegas's economic model. Gambling alone wasn't sufficient to attract customers from distant markets. Visitors needed to feel they were experiencing something special that justified the time and expense of traveling to the desert. Stage shows, celebrity performers, and elaborate dining experiences became as important as gaming facilities in determining a resort's success. Casino operators discovered that entertainment could be profitable in its own right. Not just as a loss leader designed to attract gamblers, visitors would pay premium prices for shows, meals, and accommodations that they couldn't find elsewhere. This realization led to increasingly elaborate entertainment offerings as resorts competed to attract customers with unique and spectacular experiences. The early 1950s also saw the arrival of television, which provided Las Vegas with unprecedented opportunities for national publicity. Live broadcasts from casino showrooms brought Las Vegas entertainment into American living rooms, creating awareness of the city among potential visitors who might never have considered a Nevada vacation. Popular variety shows frequently featured Las Vegas performers, associating the city with glamour and excitement in the minds of millions of viewers. Television coverage also helped establish Las Vegas as a legitimate entertainment destination, rather than just a gambling town with a questionable reputation. The presence of major celebrities and the obvious luxury of the new resorts demonstrated that Las Vegas had evolved far beyond its frontier origins into something that could compete with established entertainment capitals. The Korean War, which began in 1950, initially seemed to threaten Las Vegas's growth as military mobilization reduced the number of potential tourists and diverted government resources away from civilian activities. However, the war ultimately accelerated the city's development by bringing military personnel to Nevada training facilities and creating prosperity that increased the number of Americans with discretionary income for travel and entertainment. Nellis Air Force Base expanded significantly during the Korean conflict, bringing thousands of military families to the Las Vegas area. These residents provided a stable customer base for local businesses, while military personnel on temporary assignment created demand for entertainment and recreation. The base also attracted defense contractors and government officials who needed accommodations and entertainment during their visits to Nevada. The military presence helped legitimize Las Vegas in the minds of middle-class Americans who might have been reluctant to visit a city associated primarily with gambling and organized crime. The fact that the federal government maintained major installations in the area suggested that Las Vegas was a respectable place where ordinary families could safely vacation. By the mid-1950s, Las Vegas had achieved something remarkable. It had transformed itself from a small railroad town into a nationally recognized entertainment destination in less than 2 decades. The city's population had grown to over 24,000, while the number of annual visitors was approaching 1 million. Casino revenues were generating substantial tax income for Nevada, making Las Vegas one of the state's most important economic centers. The success attracted attention from legitimate businessmen who had previously avoided Las Vegas due to its association with organized crime. Hotel chains, restaurant companies, and entertainment corporations began exploring opportunities in the rapidly growing market. This influx of conventional business interests would eventually help Las Vegas shed its reputation as a criminal enterprise and establish itself as a mainstream entertainment destination. The transformation was also attracting international attention as foreign visitors began including Las Vegas in their American travel itineraries. The city's unique combination of legal gambling, elaborate entertainment, and desert luxury created an experience that was distinctly American. But unlike anything available elsewhere in the world, Las Vegas was becoming not just a national destination, but a global symbol of American entertainment and excess. The stage was set for even more dramatic growth as the 1950s progressed. The basic infrastructure was in place, the entertainment industry was well established, and the city had demonstrated its ability to attract visitors from across the country. All that was needed was continued investment in new attractions and facilities that would keep Las Vegas ahead of potential competitors in other states that were beginning to consider legalizing gambling. The next phase of Las Vegas's development would be driven by entrepreneurs who combined the vision of pioneers like Bugsy Siegel with the business acumen and legitimate financing that would transform the city into a corporate entertainment empire. The age of the casino corporation was about to begin, and with it would come changes that would make the Las Vegas of the 1960s and beyond almost unrecognizable compared to the frontier town that had existed just 20 years earlier. The late 1950s marked the beginning of Las Vegas's transformation from a collection of individual casino resorts into something resembling a coordinated entertainment empire. The success of the Strip's early establishments had demonstrated that enormous profits were possible in the desert, attracting the attention of investors who possessed both the vision and the capital necessary to take the city to unprecedented levels of spectacle and sophistication. The key figure in this next phase of development was Jay Sarno, an entrepreneur whose background in hotel development had given him insights into customer psychology that most casino operators lacked. Sarno understood that Las Vegas's future success would depend not just on gambling and entertainment, but on creating immersive experiences that transported visitors into fantasy worlds where ordinary rules didn't apply. Sarno's vision culminated in the opening of Caesar's Palace in 1966, a resort that redefined what a casino could be. Unlike previous establishments that had simply offered luxury accommodations and gambling facilities, Caesar's Palace was designed as a complete fantasy environment where visitors could imagine themselves as Roman emperors enjoying the pleasures of ancient Rome. The resort's architecture deliberately rejected the modest desert styling that had characterized earlier Las Vegas development. Instead, Sarno created a monument to excess that featured marble columns, elaborate fountains, and classical statuary that seemed transported directly from the ancient world. The casino floor was designed as a Roman forum where modern gamblers could experience the decadence of imperial Rome. More importantly, Caesar's Palace established the principle that Las Vegas resorts should offer experiences that were impossible to duplicate anywhere else in the world. Visitors weren't simply staying in a hotel or gambling in a casino. They were participating in an elaborate theatrical production where they played the starring roles in their own fantasies of wealth and power. The success of Caesar's Palace inspired a wave of themed resort development that would define Las Vegas for decades to come. Each new property attempted to create its own unique fantasy world, from medieval castles to tropical paradises to futuristic space stations. The competition to create the most spectacular and immersive environments drove continuous innovation in architecture, interior design, and entertainment technology. The late 1960s also saw the arrival of Howard Hughes, the eccentric billionaire whose massive investments would fundamentally alter Las Vegas's relationship with organized crime. Hughes purchased several major strip resorts, including the Desert Inn, the Sands, and the Frontier, bringing legitimate corporate ownership to properties that had previously been controlled by criminal syndicates. Hughes's involvement in Las Vegas was driven partly by his desire for privacy and control, but it also reflected his recognition that the city's entertainment industry represented an enormously profitable investment opportunity. His purchases provided Las Vegas with the respectability that came from association with a legitimate American business empire, helping to distance the city from its criminal past. The Hughes era coincided with increasing federal pressure on organized crime's involvement in Nevada gaming. The creation of the Nevada Gaming Commission and the implementation of stricter licensing requirements made it increasingly difficult for criminal figures to maintain direct control of casino operations. This regulatory environment created opportunities for legitimate corporations to enter the Las Vegas market. By the early 1970s, publicly traded corporations had begun purchasing major Las Vegas resorts, bringing Wall Street financing and professional management to an industry that had previously operated according to informal rules established by criminal entrepreneurs. This corporate involvement provided access to capital that dwarfed anything previously available for Las Vegas development. The transformation from criminal to corporate control had profound implications for Las Vegas's future development. Corporate owners had access to sophisticated market research, professional marketing capabilities, and financial resources that allowed them to plan development on unprecedented scales. They also brought accountability to stockholders and regulatory agencies that imposed discipline on an industry that had previously operated with minimal oversight. The 1970s saw Las Vegas begin to market itself more aggressively to middle-class American families, rather than focusing exclusively on high-rolling gamblers and entertainment seekers. This shift reflected both the maturing of the American middle class and the recognition that sustained growth required appealing to broader demographic segments than had previously supported the city. Casino operators discovered that families represented an enormous untapped market for Las Vegas entertainment. Parents who might never have considered gambling vacations were attracted by the city's shows, restaurants, and attractions that didn't require gaming participation. Children couldn't gamble, but they could enjoy swimming pools, arcade games, and other family-friendly amenities that resorts began incorporating into their designs. This family orientation required significant changes in how Las Vegas presented itself to potential visitors. The city's marketing began emphasizing entertainment, dining, and recreation rather than focusing exclusively on gambling, and nightlife resorts invested heavily in attractions that would appeal to visitors of all ages, from elaborate stage shows to theme park-style rides and exhibitions. The shift toward family entertainment also coincided with improvements in air transportation that made Las Vegas accessible to visitors from across the United States. The development of commercial jet aircraft reduced travel times from major cities, while the expansion of McCarran International Airport provided the infrastructure necessary to handle increasing numbers of tourists. Air travel transformed Las Vegas from a regional destination that primarily served western states into a national resort that could attract visitors from anywhere in the country. A family in New York or Chicago could now reach Las Vegas in a matter of hours rather than days, making weekend trips feasible for millions of potential customers who had previously been beyond the city's reach. The combination of improved accessibility and family-friendly attractions led to explosive growth in visitor numbers during the 1970s. Annual visitation increased from approximately 6 million in 1970 to over 11 million by 1980, while the city's permanent population grew from about 125,000 to nearly 165,000 during the same period. Las Vegas was becoming a major American city rather than just an entertainment destination. This growth created new challenges and opportunities for city planners and resort developers. The infrastructure that had been adequate for a small desert town was completely overwhelmed by the demands of a major tourist destination. Roads, utilities, and public services required massive expansion to serve both the growing permanent population and the millions of annual visitors. The Nevada state government recognized that Las Vegas had become crucial to the state's economy and began investing in infrastructure improvements that would support continued growth. Highway construction connected Las Vegas more efficiently to California and other western states, while improvements to McCarran Airport allowed the facility to handle the increasing volume of air traffic. The late 1970s and early 1980s also saw the beginning of Las Vegas's expansion beyond the traditional boundaries of downtown, and the Strip new casino resorts began opening in suburban areas, serving local residents as well as tourists. This development pattern reflected the city's evolution from a destination that existed solely for visitors into a genuine metropolitan area with diverse economic activities. The opening of Sam's Town in 1979 marked a significant shift in Las Vegas development philosophy. Unlike the elaborate themed resorts on the Strip, Sam's Town was designed to serve local residents who wanted convenient gambling and entertainment without the crowds and expense associated with tourist-oriented establishments. This local focus created a new market segment that would become increasingly important as Las Vegas's population continued to grow. The success of locals-oriented casinos demonstrated that Las Vegas had developed a substantial, permanent population that could support entertainment facilities independent of tourism. This local market provided stability during periods when visitor numbers fluctuated due to economic conditions or competition from other destinations. The 1980s brought another wave of development that would establish Las Vegas as the undisputed entertainment capital of the world. The decade began with the opening of several major new resorts that pushed the boundaries of scale and spectacle even further than previous developments had achieved. The opening of the MGM Grand in 1980 introduced Las Vegas to the concept of the mega resort, a facility so large and comprehensive that visitors could spend their entire vacation without leaving the property. With over 2,000 rooms and entertainment facilities that included multiple theatres, restaurants, and attractions, the MGM Grand represented a new category of resort development that would become the standard for future Las Vegas construction. The MGM Grand's size and scope demonstrated that Las Vegas had reached a level of market sophistication that could support investments of unprecedented scale. The resort's success proved that visitors were willing to pay premium prices for experiences that couldn't be duplicated elsewhere, encouraging other developers to plan even more ambitious projects. However, the early 1980s also brought Las Vegas face-to-face with the reality that success could create its own challenges. A devastating fire at the MGM Grand in November 1980 killed 85 people and injured hundreds more, shocking the entertainment world and forcing the industry to confront serious questions about safety in the massive resort complexes that had become Las Vegas's signature attractions. The MGM fire led to comprehensive reforms in building codes, fire safety systems, and emergency procedures that made Las Vegas resorts among the safest public buildings in America. The tragedy also demonstrated the city's resilience and commitment to visitor safety, as the resort industry invested hundreds of millions of dollars in safety improvements that exceeded requirements in most other jurisdictions. The mid-1980s saw Las Vegas begin to establish itself as a major convention destination, adding another dimension to its tourism economy. The construction of large-scale convention facilities allowed the city to host business meetings, trade shows, and corporate events that brought visitors who might not have come specifically for gambling or entertainment. Convention tourism provided Las Vegas with several advantages over traditional leisure travel. Business travelers often had expense accounts that allowed them to spend more freely than vacation tourists, while conventions brought large groups of visitors during weekdays and off-peak seasons when leisure travel was traditionally slow. This helped stabilize occupancy rates and provided more consistent revenue streams for resorts and other businesses. The development of Las Vegas as a convention destination also enhanced the city's reputation as a legitimate business center rather than simply an entertainment playground. Major corporations that might have been reluctant to hold events in a city associated primarily with gambling began recognizing Las Vegas as a sophisticated destination that could provide both business facilities and entertainment options unavailable elsewhere. The success of convention tourism encouraged resort developers to incorporate meeting facilities, exhibition halls, and business centers into their properties. This trend culminated in the construction of massive resort complexes that could simultaneously serve leisure travelers, business visitors, and convention attendees in integrated environments that maximized convenience and revenue opportunities. The late 1980s brought Las Vegas to the attention of international investors who recognized the city's potential for global expansion. Japanese corporations, flush with capital from their country's economic boom, began purchasing major Las Vegas properties and planning new developments that would introduce international perspectives to the city's entertainment offerings. Foreign investment brought both opportunities and challenges to Las Vegas development. International investors often had different approaches to resort design and operation, introducing new concepts that expanded the city's entertainment repertoire. However, cultural differences sometimes created conflicts with established Las Vegas traditions and customer expectations. The international attention also reflected Las Vegas's growing reputation as a global destination that attracted visitors from around the world. The city's unique combination of legal gambling, elaborate entertainment, and American cultural themes created an experience that appealed to foreign tourists seeking authentically American adventures. As the 1980s drew to a close, Las Vegas had established itself as far more than just a gambling destination. The city had become America's premier entertainment capital, a place where visitors could experience fantasies and pleasures unavailable anywhere else in the world. The transformation from desert railroad town to global destination had taken less than half a century, but the changes that lay ahead would be even more dramatic. The 1990s would bring another revolution in Las Vegas development, as a new generation of entrepreneurs would create resort experiences that exceeded even the wildest dreams of the city's founders. The age of the themed mega-resort was about to begin, and with it would come attractions and spectacles that would establish Las Vegas as one of the world's most visited destinations. The city that had begun as a simple rest stop for travelers crossing the desert was preparing to become a destination so compelling that millions of people would travel thousands of miles just to experience what could only be found in the neon empire that rose from the Nevada sands. The transformation of Las Vegas in the 1990s began with a vision so audacious that even veteran casino operators questioned whether the desert city could support such ambitious dreams. Steve Wynn, who had already established himself as one of the industry's most innovative developers, announced plans for a resort that would cost more than any entertainment facility ever built in human history. The Mirage, which opened in November 1989, represented a quantum leap in resort development that redefined what was possible in Las Vegas. With a construction cost exceeding $630 million, the property featured attractions that seemed more appropriate for a major theme park than a casino resort. The resort's signature volcano erupted nightly in a spectacular display of fire and water that could be seen for miles across the desert valley. But the volcano was merely the most visible symbol of a comprehensive approach to resort development that integrated gambling, entertainment, dining, and spectacle into a seamless experience. The Mirage featured a tropical rainforest in its lobby, complete with exotic plants and animals that transported visitors from the harsh desert environment into a lush paradise that seemed to exist in defiance of natural laws. The resort's success exceeded even Wynn's optimistic projections, demonstrating that Las Vegas visitors were hungry for experiences that transcended traditional casino entertainment. The Mirage attracted customers who had never previously considered Las Vegas vacations, including families, international tourists, and upscale travelers who had dismissed the city as too crude for their tastes. More importantly, the Mirage proved that elaborate themed environments could generate revenue streams that extended far beyond gambling. Visitors paid premium prices for dining, shopping, and entertainment experiences that were integrated into the resort's tropical theme. The property's white tigers, dolphin habitat, and elaborate stage shows became attractions in their own right, drawing customers who might spend money without ever placing a bet. The success of the Mirage triggered a development boom that transformed Las Vegas more dramatically than any previous period in its history. Competing developers recognized that the standard had been raised permanently and that future success would require investments and innovations that exceeded even Wynn's ambitious vision. Circus Enterprises responded with the Excalibur, a medieval-themed resort that opened in 1990 with over 4,000 rooms, making it the largest hotel in the world. At the time, the property's castle architecture and Arthurian theme created a fantasy environment where visitors could experience the romance and adventure of medieval legends while enjoying modern amenities and entertainment. The Excalibur's success demonstrated that Las Vegas could support multiple mega-resorts simultaneously, each offering distinct themed experiences that appealed to different customer segments. The resort's family-friendly orientation proved that the city could attract visitors who are primarily interested in entertainment and spectacle rather than gambling and nightlife. The early 1990s also saw the opening of the MGM Grand, which reclaimed the title of world's largest hotel with over 5,000 rooms. The property's Emerald City theme, inspired by The Wizard of Oz, created another complete fantasy environment where visitors could escape from reality into a world of magic and wonder. The resort's massive scale allowed it to offer amenities and attractions that smaller properties couldn't match, including multiple theaters, restaurants, and entertainment venues. These themed mega-resorts established Las Vegas as a destination where visitors could experience multiple vacation fantasies within a single trip. A family could stay at Excalibur and feel transported to medieval England, spend an evening at the Mirage's tropical paradise, and explore the MGM Grand's Emerald City, all within a few miles of each other. This concentration of themed experiences created a unique entertainment environment that couldn't be duplicated anywhere else in the world. The success of themed resorts also attracted the attention of entertainment companies that had previously focused on traditional theme parks. Disney executives visited Las Vegas to study how casino resorts created immersive environments, while Las Vegas developers traveled to Disney World to understand how theme parks managed crowd flow and customer experiences. This cross-pollination of ideas led to innovations that enhanced both industries. Las Vegas resorts began incorporating ride-like attractions and character-based entertainment, while theme parks adopted casino-style customer service and amenity programs. The result was a new category of entertainment destination that combined the best elements of both approaches. The mid-1990s brought another revolutionary concept to Las Vegas with the opening of New York, New York in 1997. The resort attempted to recreate the Manhattan skyline in miniature, complete with a Statue of Liberty replica and a roller coaster that wove through the property's skyscrapers. This approach to theming represented a new level of sophistication in resort design, creating environments that were both fantastical and recognizable. The success of New York. New York demonstrated that Las Vegas visitors were attracted to themes that allowed them to experience familiar places in new and exciting ways. The resort's recreation of Manhattan landmarks provided the comfort of recognition, while adding the excitement of being in an environment where different rules applied than in the real New York City. The late 1990s also saw the opening of Bellagio, Steve Wynn's attempt to create the most elegant and sophisticated resort in Las Vegas history. Unlike the family-friendly themes of other mega-resorts, Bellagio was designed to appeal to upscale travelers who expected luxury accommodations and cultural amenities comparable to the finest hotels in Europe. The resort's dancing fountains became an instant icon, providing free entertainment that attracted visitors from across the Strip, while demonstrating the property's commitment to beauty and spectacle. The Bellagio Gallery of Fine Art brought legitimate cultural attractions to Las Vegas, featuring rotating exhibitions of works by major artists that elevated the city's reputation beyond mere entertainment. Bellagio's success proved that Las Vegas could support luxury experiences that rivaled anything available in traditional resort destinations. The property's high-end shopping, fine dining, and cultural attractions demonstrated that the city had evolved beyond its origins as a gambling town into a sophisticated destination that could satisfy the most discerning travelers. The development boom of the 1990s also transformed the economic relationship between Las Vegas and the state of Nevada. Casino revenues grew from approximately $3 billion in 1990 to over $7 billion by 1999, making gaming taxes crucial to the state's fiscal health. This economic importance gave Las Vegas unprecedented political influence within Nevada and enhanced the city's ability to secure infrastructure improvements and regulatory support. The growth in visitor numbers was equally dramatic, with annual visitation increasing from about 21 million in 1990 to over 33 million by 1999. This influx of tourists required massive expansion of the city's infrastructure, including the addition of new terminals at McCarran International Airport, expansion of the highway system, and construction of the Las Vegas monorail to connect major strip resorts. The 1990s boom also established Las Vegas as a major employment center that attracted workers from across the United States. The construction of mega resorts created thousands of jobs for skilled tradesmen, while resort operations required extensive staffing in hospitality, entertainment, and customer service positions. The city's population more than doubled during the decade, growing from approximately 165,000 in 1990 to over 400,000 by 2000. This rapid population growth created suburban communities that extended far beyond the traditional boundaries of Las Vegas, transforming the desert valley into a major metropolitan area. New residential developments, shopping centers, and schools were built to serve the families of casino workers, creating a diversified economy that was no longer entirely dependent on tourism. The success of 1990s Las Vegas also began attracting attention from other states and countries that hoped to replicate the city's economic model. Native American tribes opened casinos that offered Las Vegas-style gambling closer to major population centers, while international destinations began developing their own casino resorts based on Las Vegas innovations. This competition forced Las Vegas to continue innovating and expanding its entertainment offerings to maintain its competitive advantage. The city could no longer rely simply on being the only place in America where certain activities were legal. It had to offer experiences that were demonstrably superior to alternatives that were becoming available elsewhere. The response to this competitive pressure led to even more elaborate resort development as the 1990s progressed. Each new property attempted to create unique attractions and experiences that couldn't be duplicated by competitors in other markets. This innovation cycle drove continuous investment in new technologies, entertainment concepts, and architectural innovations. The late 1990s also saw Las Vegas begin to establish itself as a major center for conventions and trade shows that served industries beyond gaming and entertainment. The city's combination of extensive meeting facilities, hotel capacity, and entertainment options made it an attractive destination for business events that drew attendees from around the world. Convention business provided Las Vegas with several strategic advantages in its competition with other destinations. Business travelers typically had higher spending budgets than leisure tourists, while conventions brought large groups of visitors during periods when leisure travel was traditionally slower. This helped stabilize occupancy rates and provided more predictable revenue streams for resort operators. The development of Las Vegas as a convention destination also enhanced the city's reputation as a legitimate business center capable of hosting serious professional events. Major corporations and industry associations that had previously avoided Las Vegas, due to its gambling associations, began recognizing the city as a sophisticated destination that could provide both business facilities and entertainment options unavailable elsewhere. The success of themed mega-resorts in the 1990s established architectural and operational standards that would influence resort development worldwide. The Las Vegas model of integrated entertainment destinations became the template for casino resort development in markets from Macau to Singapore, spreading Las Vegas innovations to international markets. However, the city's success also created new challenges that would require innovative solutions as Las Vegas entered the new millennium. The concentration of massive resorts along the Strip created traffic congestion an infrastructure strain that threatened to undermine the visitor experience that had made the city famous. The environmental impact of supporting millions of annual visitors in a desert environment also raised questions about the long-term sustainability of Las Vegas's growth model. Water consumption, energy usage, and waste management became increasingly important considerations as the city's population and visitor numbers continued to expand. The social implications of Las Vegas's transformation from small desert town to major metropolitan area also required attention from city planners and community leaders. The rapid growth had created both opportunities and challenges for long-time residents, while the influx of new residents from the diverse backgrounds changed the character of many neighborhoods. As the 1990s drew to a close, Las Vegas had established itself as far more than just America's gambling capital. The city had become a global entertainment destination that attracted visitors from around the world who came to experience attractions and spectacles that existed nowhere else on Earth. The themed mega resorts had created a new category of tourism destination that combined elements of theme parks, luxury resorts, and urban entertainment districts into integrated experiences that redefined what a vacation could be. The transformation from railroad town to global destination had taken barely a century, but the changes had been so dramatic that early visitors would have found the 1990s city almost unrecognizable. The springs that had sustained travelers crossing the desert still flowed beneath the city, but they now supported a metropolitan area that had become one of America's fastest growing urban centers. The success of the 1990s boom established Las Vegas as a destination that could continuously reinvent itself to meet changing customer expectations and competitive pressures. This adaptability would prove crucial as the city faced new challenges and opportunities in the decades ahead, including economic downturns, increased competition, and changing demographics that would require fresh innovations and approaches to maintain Las Vegas's position as the entertainment capital of the world. The neon empire that had risen from the desert sands was preparing for its next evolution, one that would test whether the city's remarkable ability to transform itself could meet the challenges of a new century while preserving the magic that had made Las Vegas unlike anywhere else on Earth. The dawn of the new millennium brought Las Vegas face to face with challenges that would test every lesson learned during its remarkable century of transformation. The city that had survived railroad economics, dam construction booms, organized crime, and corporate takeovers now confronted questions about its fundamental identity and long-term sustainability in an increasingly complex world. The terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001 delivered a devastating blow to Las Vegas that few had anticipated. The city's economy, built entirely on discretionary travel and entertainment spending, proved extraordinarily vulnerable to events that made Americans reluctant to fly or venture far from home. Within days of the attacks, hotel occupancy rates plummeted to levels not seen since the early days of casino development. McCarran International Airport, which had become one of America's busiest travel hubs, saw passenger traffic decline by more than 40% in the months following the attacks. The elaborate security measures implemented at airports made travel more cumbersome and time-consuming, discouraging the spontaneous weekend trips that had become crucial to Las Vegas's success during the 1990s boom. Resort operators who had grown accustomed to steady increases in visitor numbers suddenly found themselves managing properties that were operating at half capacity or less. The massive overhead costs associated with mega resorts, which had seemed manageable during periods of consistent growth, became crushing burdens when revenue streams dried up virtually overnight. The crisis forced Las Vegas to confront a fundamental weakness in its economic model. The city's almost complete dependence on tourism made it extraordinarily vulnerable to external events beyond its control. Unlike diversified metropolitan areas that could weather downturns in specific industries, Las Vegas had few alternative sources of employment or economic activity to cushion the impact of tourism declines. However, the city's response to this crisis demonstrated the same resilience and adaptability that had characterized its development since the railroad era. Rather than simply waiting for normal travel patterns to resume, Las Vegas embarked on another transformation that would expand its appeal beyond traditional tourist demographics and create new revenue streams that were less dependent on leisure travel. The recovery strategy focused heavily on expanding convention and business travel, which proved more resilient than leisure tourism during periods of economic uncertainty. Companies still needed to hold meetings and trade shows, even when their employees were reluctant to take vacation trips. Las Vegas's extensive meeting facilities and entertainment options made it an attractive alternative to traditional business destinations that offered fewer amenities. The city also began marketing itself more aggressively to regional markets that could be reached by automobile rather than air travel. California, Arizona, and Utah residents could drive to Las Vegas for weekend trips without dealing with airport security or flight delays. This regional focus helped stabilize visitor numbers while national travel patterns slowly returned to normal. More significantly, Las Vegas began developing attractions and amenities that appealed to visitors who weren't primarily interested in gambling. The city had already begun this evolution during the 1990s with themed resorts and family-friendly attractions, but the post-2001 period saw accelerated investment in dining, shopping, and entertainment experiences that could compete with major urban centers. The opening of the Forum Shops at Caesar's Palace had demonstrated that Las Vegas visitors would pay premium prices for luxury retail experiences, but the early 2000s saw this concept expand throughout the Strip. Major department stores, designer boutiques, and specialty retailers began opening Las Vegas locations that often became their highest-grossing outlets due to the concentration of affluent tourists with discretionary income. Celebrity chef restaurants became another crucial component of Las Vegas's evolution beyond gambling-focused entertainment. Wolfgang Puck, Emeril Lagasse, and other nationally known chefs opened establishments that attracted food enthusiasts who might never have considered Las Vegas vacations in previous decades. These restaurants generated substantial revenue while enhancing the city's reputation as a sophisticated destination. The culinary revolution in Las Vegas reflected broader changes in American travel patterns as affluent tourists increasingly sought destinations that offered exceptional dining experiences alongside traditional attractions. The city's restaurant scene evolved from basic casino coffee shops and buffets into a collection of establishments that rivaled anything available in New York or San Francisco nightclub, and day club entertainment also emerged as major revenue generators that attracted younger demographics who had different expectations than traditional casino customers. These venues charged premium prices for admission, drinks, and VIP experiences, while creating social environments that appealed to visitors seeking trendy entertainment rather than gambling-focused recreation. The expansion into nightlife entertainment reflected Las Vegas's recognition that younger customers represented the future of the tourism industry. Millennials and Generation X visitors had grown up with access to casino gaming in many states, making Las Vegas's gambling monopoly less significant than it had been for previous generations. These customers sought experiences that were unique and Instagram-worthy rather than simply offering gaming opportunities. The mid-2000s brought another wave of development that pushed the boundaries of scale and sophistication even further than the 1990s mega-resorts had achieved. City Center, a massive mixed-use development that opened in phases between 2009 and 2010, represented the largest privately financed construction project in United States history, with a cost exceeding $8 billion. The The project's scale was almost incomprehensible, encompassing multiple hotels, residential towers, retail spaces, and entertainment venues spread across more than 60 acres in the heart of the Strip city centre. Wasn't simply another themed resort. It was an attempt to create a complete urban environment that could function as a destination within the larger destination of Las Vegas. The development reflected lessons learned from decades of Las Vegas evolution, incorporating residential components that would provide a stable customer base alongside tourist-oriented facilities. The inclusion of luxury condominiums and apartments recognized that Las Vegas had become a legitimate metropolitan area where affluent professionals wanted to live year-round rather than simply visit occasionally. City Center also represented Las Vegas's emergence as a serious player in contemporary architecture and design. The project featured buildings designed by internationally renowned architects who created structures that were sophisticated and elegant rather than simply spectacular. This architectural evolution reflected the city's growing confidence in its ability to attract customers based on quality and refinement rather than just novelty and excess. The opening of City Center coincided with the worst economic recession since the Great Depression, creating a challenging environment for such an ambitious development. The financial crisis of 2008 devastated Las Vegas more severely than most American cities, as discretionary travel and entertainment spending declined sharply when unemployment rose and home values collapsed. The recession exposed another vulnerability in Las Vegas's economic model. The city's growth had become increasingly dependent on real estate development and construction activity that employed thousands of workers beyond the traditional tourism industry. When the housing bubble burst, Las Vegas experienced some of the highest foreclosure rates in the nation, creating unemployment and social problems that extended far beyond the casino industry. Hotel occupancy rates declined to levels not seen since the immediate aftermath of September 11th, while gaming revenues fell for the first time in the city's modern history. Several major resort projects were cancelled or delayed indefinitely, leaving partially completed structures scattered across the valley as monuments to interrupted ambitions. The crisis forced Las Vegas to undertake another fundamental reassessment of its development model and long-term sustainability. The city could no longer assume that continuous growth and expansion would solve all problems, and began focusing on maximizing revenue from existing facilities rather than simply building new attractions to draw additional visitors. This shift in focus led to innovations in customer service, loyalty programs, and targeted marketing that helped extract more value from each visitor, rather than simply trying to attract ever larger numbers of tourists. Casinos invested heavily in data analysis and customer relationship management systems that allowed them to identify and cultivate their most valuable customers more effectively. The economic downturn also accelerated Las Vegas's diversification efforts, as city leaders recognized that dependence on tourism alone made the metropolitan area too vulnerable to external economic shocks. Efforts to attract technology companies, manufacturing facilities, and other non-tourism businesses intensified, though progress remained slow due to the city's geographic isolation and limited skilled workforce in non-hospitality industries. The recovery from the Great Recession demonstrated Las Vegas's remarkable resilience once again, but it also marked the end of the explosive growth periods that had characterized the city's development since World War II. The new Las Vegas that emerged from the economic crisis was more mature, sophisticated, and diversified than the casino town that had existed just decades earlier. The 2010s brought a new phase of development focused on experiences rather than simply facilities. The High Roller Observation Wheel, which opened in 2014, provided visitors with panoramic views of the valley while creating a landmark that was visible from throughout the metropolitan area. The wheel represented a new category of attraction that enhance the overall visitor experience without requiring the massive resort development that had defined previous growth periods. Similarly, the construction of T-Mobile Arena in 2016 brought Major League professional sports to Las Vegas for the first time. With the arrival of the NHL's Golden Knights, the team's unexpected success created a new source of civic pride and identity that helped transform Las Vegas from a tourist destination into a genuine community where residents could develop emotional connections beyond their employment in the hospitality industry. The addition of the NFL's Raiders in 2020, playing in the spectacular Allegiant Stadium, further enhanced Las Vegas's reputation as a major league city capable of supporting professional sports alongside its traditional entertainment offerings. These sports franchises created year-round reasons for visitors to come to Las Vegas beyond the traditional gambling and entertainment motivations. The 2010s also saw Las Vegas embrace emerging technologies and social media trends that changed how visitors experienced and shared their time in the city. Instagram-worthy installations, interactive experiences, and technologically enhanced attractions became increasingly important as younger visitors sought shareable moments that would enhance their social media presence. The Sphere, which opened in 2023, represented the culmination of this technology-focused approach to entertainment. The massive spherical venue featured exterior LED displays that could be seen throughout the valley while providing interior experiences that pushed the boundaries of immersive entertainment technology. The facility demonstrated Las Vegas's continued ability to create attractions that existed nowhere else in the world. Cannabis legalization in Nevada also created new opportunities for Las Vegas to offer experiences unavailable in many other destinations. Dispensaries and consumption lounges became another category of attraction that appealed to visitors seeking activities that remained illegal or heavily regulated in their home states. The COVID-19 pandemic of 2020 presented Las Vegas with perhaps its greatest challenge since the city's founding, forcing the complete shutdown of casino operations for the first time in Nevada history. The crisis demonstrated both the city's vulnerability to external events and its remarkable ability to adapt to changing circumstances while maintaining its essential character. The pandemic accelerated trends toward outdoor entertainment, contactless service delivery, and enhanced health and safety protocols that had been emerging gradually. In previous years, Las Vegas resorts invested heavily in air filtration systems, sanitation procedures, and technology that reduced physical contact between staff and customers, while maintaining the personal service that had always been crucial to the city's appeal. The recovery from the pandemic demonstrated Las Vegas's continued relevance in an increasingly digital world, as visitors sought real-world experiences that provided relief from virtual interactions that had dominated daily life during lockdown periods. The city's emphasis on spectacular entertainment, social interaction, and sensory experiences that couldn't be replicated through screens proved more valuable than ever. As Las Vegas approaches its 120th anniversary, the city stands as a testament to human adaptability and the power of vision to transform even the most unlikely environments into thriving communities. The springs that attracted the first travelers still flow beneath the metropolitan area, but they now support nearly 3 million residents and welcome over 40 million visitors annually. The transformation from a desert outpost to global destination required countless individual decisions, innovations, and adaptations that collectively created something unprecedented in human history. Las Vegas became proof that Americans could build cities that existed purely for pleasure and entertainment, creating economic value from experiences rather than natural resources or manufacturing capabilities. The city's story also demonstrates the importance of embracing change and continuously reinventing core offerings to meet evolving customer expectations and competitive pressures. Every generation of Las Vegas entrepreneurs had to discover new ways to surprise and delight visitors who had seen previous attractions become commonplace or outdated. Today's Las Vegas bears little resemblance to the railroad town that incorporated in 1905, yet it retains the essential characteristics that have defined its identity throughout more than a century of dramatic change. The city continues to offer visitors experiences unavailable elsewhere, operated by people who understand that success requires exceeding expectations rather than simply meeting them. The neon signs that once marked individual businesses have evolved into massive digital displays that transform entire building facades into canvases for artistic expression. The simple gambling halls have become integrated resort destinations that provide every conceivable amenity and attraction within walking distance of guest rooms. The railroad depot that served transcontinental travelers has become an international airport that connects Las Vegas directly to cities around the world. Yet beneath all these changes, Las Vegas remains fundamentally what it has always been, a place where ordinary rules don't apply, where visitors can experience aspects of life that are carefully controlled or completely prohibited in their home communities. The city's genius has always been its ability to provide these experiences in environments that are safe, comfortable, and memorable rather than simply transgressive. The future of Las Vegas will undoubtedly bring changes that are as dramatic as any in the city's remarkable past, but the essential formula that transformed a desert railroad stop into a global entertainment capital continues to guide its development. As long as people seek escape, excitement, and experiences that transcend their daily routines, Las Vegas will continue to evolve and adapt to provide exactly what they're looking for, delivered with the style and spectacle that have made the city synonymous with American dreams realized in neon and stone. The story of Las Vegas stands as perhaps the most remarkable urban transformation in human history, a testament to what can be achieved when vision meets opportunity in the most unlikely of places. From those first artesian springs that sustained ancient travelers to the towering digital displays that illuminate the modern strip, this desert valley has continuously reinvented itself while remaining true to its essential promise. Here, in this manufactured oasis, the impossible becomes possible. What makes Las Vegas truly extraordinary isn't just the scale of its transformation, but the speed with which each evolution occurred. The city compressed centuries of urban development into mere decades, creating something entirely new with each generation of entrepreneurs and dreamers who saw potential where others saw only sand and heat. The railroad men who built the first depot, the dam workers who gambled their wages, the visionaries who constructed themed palaces in the desert. Each group added layers to a story that continues to unfold. The city that emerged from these countless individual ambitions became more than the sum of its parts. Las Vegas proved that Americans could create urban environments dedicated entirely to pleasure and spectacle, generating enormous wealth from experiences rather than natural resources or traditional industry. This achievement required not just capital and creativity, but a willingness to continuously abandon successful formulas in pursuit of something even more spectacular. Today, as millions of visitors stream through McCarran International Airport and drive along the neon-lit strip, they participate in a story that began with indigenous peoples gathering at desert springs and continues with technologies that would have seemed magical to the city's founders. The springs still flow beneath the metropolitan area, now supporting a population that exceeds what most early visitors imagined possible in such a hostile environment. Las Vegas remains what it has always been at its core, a place where ordinary limitations don't apply, where visitors can experience versions of themselves that might not be possible anywhere else. The city's genius lies not in any single attraction or innovation, but in its relentless commitment to exceeding expectations, to creating experiences that exist nowhere else on Earth. The neon empire that rose from the Nevada desert will undoubtedly continue to evolve, adapting to challenges and opportunities that we cannot yet imagine. But as long as people seek escape from routine, excitement beyond the ordinary, and the chance to participate in their own fantasies of glamour and possibility, Las Vegas will remain what it has been for over a century. America's most improbable success story, written in lights against a desert sky,